There'll be people out there with a much deeper comprehension of art that could tell you why the Metal Gear Solid Saga is so special. But I think as an everyman, with no real skill set in breaking down and understanding good artistic works, my thoughts might be a little bit different, or at the very least, interesting. And just to make it harder on myself, I'm going to try my best not to spoil the majority of the games. So here goes a deep dive into a franchise that makes no sense, yet still has a legacy unmatched by anything else like it. On September 1st, 2015, I became an adult. After years of waiting, I'd been alive long enough to be present at the release of Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. I won't begin to describe how excited I was, because I can't. That's how excited I was. This was the best thing that had ever happened to me. Less than a week later, my life was ruined. Metal Gear Solid: The Phantom Pain was bad. Not normal bad. The gameplay was excellent, and the tactical options for stealth is still to be rivaled by anything else in existence. It was the story that left a long-lasting pain. A phantom pain. Funny joke! Every plot point, every character, pretty much every decision seemed to be specifically tailored to annoy, anger, and upset me, which is saying a shit ton because there's barely any story content in the game. If the previous games in the franchise can be compared to movies, this is a TikTok video. And it hurts all the more because this is an incredibly produced and directed TikTok video. Every single one of the tiny amount of cutscenes are made to look like one shot. As a film guy, I think these look fucking amazing. That's all the praise I can stomach. I can see someone that isn't a fan having a very enjoyable time. Not me though. It felt personal. I've got nothing but resentment. I hate it. 5 years later, time goes on. I've matured over the last 5 years. I've got a girlfriend, I have a job, and once or twice I've considered moving out of my parents' house. With that newfound maturity, I've learned to forgive the phantom pain. Yeah, it's still the product of evil that ended my childhood, but I know the people behind it didn't intend to hurt me. At least I think they didn't. Anyway, with time to reflect, I've found I have a much greater appreciation for the rest of the series. I've always been a big boss fanboy. Metal Gear Solid 3 is the first game in the series that I played, and is therefore the best. I do also think it's objectively the best outside of nostalgia, but I'd be lying if I said nostalgia wasn't a big part of it. Since it's the first, and the best, that's where we'll start. So, Snake Eater starts with this.
After the end of World War II, the world was split into two, East and West. This marked the beginning of the era called the Cold War.
Oh, try me, bitch.
From there, we're introduced to Fox operative Naked Snake, a pseudo-historical Cold War backdrop, and a host of colourful radio helpers, as well as scientist Sokolov, who we've been sent to extract as he no longer wants to be part of creating weapons for the Russians. He also pisses himself. So much time and care is placed on grounding the world in reality. Then you get attacked by an electric man and some bees. That's where it really kicks off, and it doesn't slow down until it's over. Being able to change body and face camo, dispatch guards with CQC, and throw poisonous snakes at them as you sneak your way through forests and across desert mountains is a beautiful gameplay experience. And the Cobra unit bosses that periodically try to stop you are some of the best in gaming. The pain and the fury are somewhat basic, but no less enjoyable. The pain shoots bullet hornets that nestle into your body, while the fury sets you on fire. The fear is like fighting the Predator. You can't always see him, but if you pick your moments, you can trick him into eating a poisonous frog.
Poison!
And I could write a thesis on why the end is the perfect boss battle. a slow-paced sniper fight inside a large section of forest. It's not as simple as find and shoot. You have to carefully navigate the dense environment, hunting for animals to keep your stamina up, while you lie in wait for an enemy that could already have you in their sights. Just to add the cherry on top, if you switch off and leave the game for a week on this area, the end dies of old age. That's just incredible. Rounding out Snake's rogues gallery is Ocelot, a cocky gunslinger hellbent on proving himself after Snake bested him in a fight. Colonel Volgin, the previously mentioned electric man that wants to ignite nuclear war between the West and the East. And most importantly, the boss, Snake's former mentor and traitor to the US. She's better than Snake in almost every well. You put both in a well, she's better. She's better than Snake in almost every way, and yet it is still Snake's job alone to stop her and become Big Boss. In typical Metal Gear fashion though, it's not that simple. Despite it being the most important aspect of the game, I don't want to get into the story. Needless to say, it's a masterpiece. Difficult to follow at times, but a masterpiece all the same. Not a single character, plot point, or mechanic feels out of place. And it's got its own Bond theme. It's perfect, it's the best. I never hated Solid Snake, he just wasn't Big Boss. However, since the Phantom Pain's betrayal and my evolving maturity, I've grown to appreciate Solid Snake in ways I never thought I would. Unlike every other major character in the franchise, Solid Snake has no interest in forming a new world based on his own vision. He simply wants to do what's right. Definitely the easiest to follow of the mainline games. The story follows Solid Snake as he's brought out of retirement to infiltrate Shadow Moses and stop Liquid Snake and the members of Foxhound, who intend to steal and use a bipedal nuclear-capable tank called Rex as leverage to retrieve the body of Big Boss so they can create an army of super soldiers. They also want $1 billion as well. I guess they thought they might as well while they were there. It might sound like I lied, but this really is the simplest game of the lot, by a mile. Along the way, Snake encounters series regular Ocelot, now known as Revolver Ocelot, discovers both he and Liquid Snake are clone brothers created from the DNA of Big Boss, and is told he's been injected with Fox Dye, a virus that attacks the DNA of specifically targeted victims. That one's going to be important later. Much like Snake Eater, the bosses are made up of a group of super-powered soldiers that turn up every now and again to stop Snake. Again, for the most part, these bosses are basic, but very well done. Ocelot and Vulcan Raven being the most basic, only really needing Snake to run around and shoot. Cyborg Ninja and Liquid Snake's boss fights strip away Snake's weapons and pit you against your opponents in a fist fight. Liquid's fight feels especially climactic and ends the game on the highest note possible. The two interesting boss fights though come in the form of Sniper Wolf, a sniper fight that seems like the early prototype for the eventual fight against the end, and Psycho Mantis. And surely at this point everyone knows about Psycho Mantis. On the off chance that you don't, Psycho Mantis is a gas mask wearing mind reader that is impossible to defeat. That is, until Snake is told that he needs to plug the controller into the second controller port so that Mantis can't read his mind. Once again, absolute batshit genius. He also knows if you've been playing Super Mario Sunshine, so don't think you can keep that one to yourself. From the simplest to the most complex, also the most pretentious. Briefly, playing as Solid Snake, we discover Liquid Snake survived by possessing Revolver Ocelot's arm. Then, for the rest of the game, we get to play as whiny white boy rookie Raiden, who, once again, needs to fight through a group of supernaturally powered boss fights and stop a man clone from Big Boss's DNA from hijacking a nuclear-capable walking tank. Might sound lazy at first, but after a while of playing, and a chance encounter with a cyborg ninja, you start to connect the dots and realise this all feels familiar for a reason. In terms of story, I'll leave it at that. For Kojima, this is thematically an extraordinary way to frame a sequel to a game you felt forced to make. Most video game sequels aim to repeat the original but better. Deconstructing that notion, Metal Gear Solid 2 makes the repeated story beats a part of the narrative. It's also where Kojima puts forward his message. Pass on your knowledge, better yourself with it, and help others learn from it. Essentially, don't be a dick. And that brings us up to Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots. Everything is coming to a close. The Fox Die in Snake's system is mutating, he's rapidly aged, and soon he'll become a destructive killing force just like the nuclear weapons he spent his life fighting. Every living character from the series makes an appearance, even some that are dead. Old Snake struggles against his failing body in much the same way Kojima's love for his creation was failing after already wanting to move on several times. That didn't stop him crafting what may be the finest self-indulgence in all of entertainment media. If you've not got an expansive knowledge of the whole series up to this point, you're not going to understand over half of what this game throws at you. Boss fights that replicate older bosses, lesser side characters having significant importance to the narrative, and over 8 hours of cutscenes throughout, about 70 minutes of which make up the final after the player's control is taken away. It's exhausting, but I am more than fine with it. The entire franchise is resolved over the course of one game, and it doesn't care how much it needs to cram in. I'd be letting down every thrown together student quality essay ever if I didn't begin my final thoughts with, in conclusion. So, in conclusion, the Metal Gear Solid franchise is a mess. It's weird, it's confusing, and it's self-indulgent. But it knows it. The stealth gameplay, perfected in the original, is constantly being adapted and changed to match the game it's featured in, and always for the better. No other series could consistently present such uniquely outstanding boss fights. The political and scientific themes are surprisingly well thought out and relevant even today. Holding up those themes is the amazingly nonsensical and complex, yet beautifully realised story, perfectly spread across the 4 mainline games. And that nonsensical weirdness often bleeds into the gameplay. Giving food to my prison guard and befriending him so he'll let me out, shooting beehives to scare enemies, and throwing a mushroom at a guy who's afraid of mushrooms are just a few of my favourite memories. And they're just from Snake Eater alone. Most of all, Metal Gear Solid is special because it's the creative vision of an incredibly talented man and his insanely talented crew. Hideo Kojima might be strange, but he is still a visionary creator. Unlike the majority of developers that tirelessly work to make their games palatable to as wide an audience as possible, Kojima doesn't care. He's making the games he wants to make the way he wants to do it, and he'll be damned if it's good for you. He doesn't care about you. He's just doing what he wants. Sorry, I'm thinking about Fountain Pen again. Sorry. And that unparalleled creativity has led to the creation of potentially the best saga of all time. Suck it, Star Wars. Hey guys, this was definitely quite a shallow look at what makes Metal Gear Solid so special. I wanted to go into more detail, but equally I didn't want to spoil anything because I know people haven't played it, and that person has to edit this, so it's not my fault. Also, analysing a Metal Gear game on any deeper level would take me the rest of my life, so I'm not going to bother. Anywho, I hope you liked it. If you did, let me know. It'd be nice to know if this was time well spent, and if I should ever do anything like it again. And if you're afraid of mushrooms out there, I'm sorry. It's not a funny ailment. Mushrooms are scary. And I'll leave you with a special presentation we created.
So, Metal Gear's armed with a new type of nuclear warhead, huh? Who's that? A surveillance camera? Psycho Mantis. Card keys. Dead. Who's that? What kind of data? What is this place? A member of Foxhound? This is a civilian base? Why Foxhound? Can I trust her? Deep Throat. Jeans. An assassination weapon? Gray Fox? Is it from the nanomachines? He's not using his naked eyes? So what was it? Are you listening? A lady sniper, huh? Kurd. Why are you telling me this? Are you hurt? President Baker? The Genome Soldiers? Trick.
Huh? Are you a Navy SEAL? Have I seen you before? Rose?
A ninja?
Hanging?
Ames?
Sound?
What do you mean?
Microwave.
Are you two done?
Huh? What? So you believe that ninja? What? A Harrier?
A flying infantry combat vehicle? A wig? Why do they keep exploding? Why would a mushroom glow in the dark? Will you stop answering my questions with questions? Calorie mate, instant noodles. But why'd you call it chocolate chip? So how does it taste? How do you know all this stuff? Why are you helping me? Spatza. Spatza? Why are you telling me this? How do I open it? What's in it? Jeans. Is that it? Drebin. Meryl. Liquid. Raiden. Snake. Otacon. Naomi. That's a female.
What did you say?
What's weird?
Was sleeping with me a part of the job?
What the hell are you talking about? Who are you? Anybody got a smoke?